Hello, it's Sean Bishop of Bishop Instruments and Bows, and this is What's New November. Well, the month has just flown by. We had Cremona. Remember, I went to Cremona at the end of September. So things are slowly coming in that I purchased out there and stuff that I bought and just trying to get it all organised. And yeah, it seems like I've got a lot of instruments. So if you want to buy something, a good time to come. Free up a bit of shelf space for me. Cheers, everyone. Right, I needed that coffee, as I keep saying all the time. I've got 3 violins, a viola, 4 bows here. So we're gonna, let's talk about the violins first, shall we? Right, now, one maker I really love is Pietro Parravicini. He worked in Milan and trained with the Antoniazzi family. I don't know if he trained with Riccardo, but certainly Romeo. And he made some instruments for the family. And so you see a lot of instruments that are labelled Romeo Antoniazzi are made by Pietro Parravicini, or the brothers. It's so incestuous. That whole period of Milan is the same with the Biziac family. So you have Leandro Biziacs and you have Gaetano Antoniazzi. And those are the 2 big schools of violin making in Milan in sort of 1880 onwards. And everyone working in Milan for the next 20 years was aligned to one of those workshops, basically. If not 2, there's a little bit of rollover for some of the makers who made for both. But and sometimes they made for each other. We'll get to that. So here I have a classical Pietro Parravicini. Oh, sorry, I'm getting confused here. This is the wrong violin. I'm going to leave that violin alone. And this is a classic case and example. This is Attilio Roscalli, who worked for the Antoniazzis. So he made this violin in 1925. I think Romeo died that year or the year later or before, certainly around that period. And this is on the Antoniazzi mold, the model, completely identical to any Antoniazzi you see. That's why in my mind I was like, oh yeah, there's a Pietro Parravicini. So that's quite amusing. Yeah, this is easy to lose violin because it's labelled Rovescalli, so not difficult to work out. But a very nice violin, incredibly pure. This example, I mean, it's just not been touched in its life, and so that was a lovely find in Cremona. A great maker, Attilio Roscalli. You don't see many of them, you know. Now, what I do have is the Parravicini. This one is intriguing because it is labelled Antoniazzi, like I said. Where have we got here? It's signed Riccardo Antoniazzi, 1904 or something like that. Anyway, very nice looking label. It's probably an original label. But what I can say is that this violin, while someone has said that they feel it was made by the 2, Romeo and Riccardo, in collaboration, in my mind, this is Pietro Parravicini. And I've got another one. I'm just trying to think if it's in a grabbing situation. No, I'm not sure where it is. It must be in my other room. Yeah, so I've got the twin of this. So when I put them together, it was like bingo. And particularly the edge work and this. But that's a really very nice violin, made in about 1920, 25. Again, well, I think it's Pietro Parravicini. One of the experts says it's made by the brothers Antoniazzi, which makes it more expensive, but I think I'll have to stick with what I think I know, and that's Pietro Parravicini. Let's have a listen. I'll just have a quick play it. Gotta find a bow with some rosin. Not always easy, particularly when they're new bows. Right. No rosin on these things. Anyway, it does sound very nice, this violin. So worth looking up on my website. I'm very lucky. I've got 2 Parravicini violas, maybe 4 violins, something like that. Right. So we've done Pietro Parravicini. We've done Attilio Roscalli. I've actually got 1 violin in there made by Rovescalli with Romeo Antoniazzi, which I'm showing to the expert Dimitri Gindin today, who saw it previously and said there's Rovescalli in that. So yeah, interesting. Another maker that you won't have heard of, because you know, not many people know of Rovescalli, Parravicini, certainly not players, is this Morano, Arnaldo Morano of Turin. And this is a really fine violin of his. You just don't see them. He was very much a restorer. This violin was made at the end of the war, 1945. And it has vibes of Capacchione, Poggi. The workmanship is just phenomenal. Now, I've got another one of his violins. These things come in twos, usually, to me, and which is very nice. It had some repairs, which Morano did himself in the 80s, so he was around for a long time. But when I saw this violin, it was a no-brainer. I had to buy this. I got this in Cremona from a good friend of mine. And if you have a look on the website, hopefully you'll have the photos up very soon. It's worth looking at because the price of this violin, you can buy 4 Poggis. It makes no sense whatsoever because the workmanship on this is just first rate. Tonally sounds very good too. I'll get a video of me playing it on the website very soon. But yeah, it's one to have a look at. Okay, and one viola I collected was by Gianni Apostolou, who is I think he's Greek. He's not. Maybe he's from Cyprus, or I don't want to get it wrong. But anyway, he is working in Italy and has for a very long time. So we'll call him Italian. Working in Brescia. I think he worked with Filippo Fassa for a while and now is on his own. And he made this smaller viola for me. Let me just quickly check the back length. Yeah, 40.1 centimeters, so under 16 inch in a Maggini-esque DeSalo type style. It doesn't say on the very beautiful label. But man, these things work. Big sound, small viola. Isn't that what we all want? And what I like about it is just, it's pretty straight in its antiquing. It's probably between 2 and 5% antiquing. So it just takes a little edge off, but very beautifully made. We had one last year, which we sold straight away to a very fine London violist. And no doubt this viola will also wing its way to someone that's wanting a smaller viola with a big sound. I have a few notes. Quite a gritty sound, big sound for 15 and what is it, 3/4? A bit more than 15 3/4, 5/8, I suppose. Beautiful viola, highly recommended. So yeah, come and have a go of that. Bows. Now the bows that I was playing on, which I did put some rosin on them, obviously not enough. There's 4 bows here which I just received by one of my favourite makers, Emmanuel Bejan of Canada. Emmanuel, Manu to his friends. As everyone should know by now, he's a very young French bow maker. Well, sorry, French-Canadian, I think is what we'd say, wouldn't we? But certainly Canadian. And he won a gazillion gold medals at the Violin Society of America. And in the last competition, he was the judge. So I thought that was quite ironic that the person that got the gold medals, I think the judge might have been younger than the person he gave the medals to. But close, shall we say. But yeah, Bégin bows, I've been lucky to work with Emmanuel for a long time. And all I have to do is say, make me some bows quick. And he does. And so we received 4 silver-mounted violin bows, and they're nice and interesting because they're all slightly different. We have darker sticks, some sticks with silver heads, some with mammoth, a variety, some with eyes, some without. So he's keeping it a nice variety for himself. I'm also lucky that I have a gold quartet I own in my private collection, and he's making me another one. So we've got to keep our fingers crossed for this Pernambuco rubbish that's happening this month. So live in my What's New December could be very, we might be talking about the CITES situation with Pernambuco and what's the outcome is. There's certainly a whole lot of ideas being put forward by bow groups around the world, all different. But I mean, hopefully we can just get on with our lives and play on a wooden bow. I don't think it's too much to ask, particularly when we've planted so many of them, more than we've chopped down. The final bow is the English maker, Paul Sadka. Not sure if I've talked about him. I'm sure I have. He's one of my favourite living makers, and I sort of represent him in England and Europe and beyond, wherever. He has also won 3 gold medals at the Violin Society of America. I think it was in 2010 or 11, one of those dates. This is his typical model now. He makes a blind frog, you can see, so that you can't even see the slide. And he puts a little carbon graphite slide on it, so it's touching the wood, so they stay strong and don't chip and all that sort of stuff. But really beautiful, and actually the head on this is just absolutely stunning. It's got a fantastic wood he managed to purchase many years ago. So we're very lucky to have his bows. And I've always got violin bows, viola bows and cello bows, silver and gold of Paul, and long may it continue. Anyway, there we have it. So just 3 violins here I'm talking about, Italian violins, and 1 new viola and all these bows. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you in December. Ciao.